without the accolades, without the gold stars, without the win, who are we? It's about not needing to do more to feel like you're enough.
Who am I when I'm not achieving? What does that look like? What do I believe I have to prove, and to who?
If all of that's coming in from the outside is the only thing that's fueling your sense of self and self-worth, that's dangerous.
Welcome back to Unapologetic Rabble-Rousers. I'm DocShellie.
And I'm Carla Lewis. So we've got a really fun follow-on to the last conversation. And this is really taking a look at who are we without the achievements? Who are we without the opportunity to prove that we have a station in life, that we are a somebody? And it's such an interesting We've hinted at it before, and just the whole identity thing.
Well, yeah, so much of our identity is tied to achievement. But if you think about it, from a young age, we're praised for good grades, for the trophies, for the promotions, for performance. We live in a hustle culture. Like, all of these things just propagate the whole idea that you are your achievements.
It gives you something to swing for. It gives you you're trying to knock it out of the park every time. And I think you're right. I don't think you're right. I know you're right about the fact these standards of achievement are seeded so early. And some of it's the celebratory first steps, and it's the celebratory first words and all of that, which we're not processing quite the same at that point, but it is the beginning.
It's planting those seeds.
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was growing up, we did not have kindergarten graduation. We didn't have a third grade graduation. We didn't have an eighth grade. We had a high school graduation. That was it. And I have friends that have kids and grandkids, and it's like, it's cool. You're going to celebrate everything, but kindergarten graduation, third grade graduations, fifth grade graduations.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we also have some of those, I don't know if they still do this or not. Everyone gets a trophy because you showed up.
Participation prizes.
Yes. I won't even go there, but, and then I think about women who are high achievers, and accomplishment almost becomes a coping strategy for our self-worth.
That's a powerful statement. And especially,
I only say that because I live it.
Yes, I understand that. I understand. And I was just going to refer back to the fact that as we were moving along in the career, that they didn't know how to be with women in a peer relationship. Mm-hmm. Men did not know. It was all new. Mm-hmm. And so there was this whole thing about being able to dance backwards in high heels and be able to then, that showed that you could keep up. So I think for some of us in this generation, mine and yours, there's some real lived experience about what it means. And it's not just for women. Mm-hmm. You know, I would venture that every genre, every group, every whatever distinguishing characteristic, that there has been something along the way where performance and achievement were what gave you the gold standard. It gave you the gold star. And being better than others was the goal. That was the goal. You wanted to be the tallest daisy.
I was never going to be the tallest one.
Well, yeah, we both have that little vertical challenge, but however, even with that vertical challenge, we have carved out a spot, and a lot of it came with blood, sweat, and tears. And it wasn't actually for either one of us, because I know you and I know me, and it wasn't for the right to brag. It wasn't for being able to stand up on the middle box on the podium. It wasn't about that. It was about personal orientation to being the best you can be and not letting people stomp on you or do what they could to beat you down just because you were working so hard to be the best you could be. And that was being interpreted almost like a hostile situation.
Mm-hmm.
And there are nightmares that I'm certain you have them. I do, from those early decades. Yeah, I'll say it. That whole performance thing, it was a matter of survival. It wasn't about achievement. It was about survival.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also that core inside you and inside me that said, why would I settle for anything less than my best?
Right. It's interesting because I've been in competitive sports most of my life. Mm-hmm. And I always want to play my best, and I like to win. I'm not going to lie. But I can vividly remember one of the best tennis matches I ever played in my life. I was playing with this woman who was a great player, and we lost our match 6-0, 6-0, or 0-6, I should say. We did not win a single game. And we played out of our minds. Every game was deuce add in, deuce add out. We just couldn't close it out. And these two women we were playing against were just mentally tougher than we were. And they were better players than we were. And it was so funny because we got done and they were like, we cannot believe you did not get a single game. That was one of the toughest matches we played all season.
Wow.
And we just we laughed, and nothing we could do but laugh. We neither one of us, we rarely lost 0-6. And we just thought we played great. There's nothing I would have done differently. And the rest of our team was still playing. So they asked us if we wanted to split partners and just keep playing. So we did, and we had continued a great match. But I'll never forget what a great lesson that was for me, that I can still play my absolute best and come out not on top. But there was literally nothing we would have done differently. We both played great. We tried to switch sides. It didn't change anything. We were in it. We were competitive, and we kept our wits about ourselves. But it was such a great life lesson to be like, it's not about anyone else. It is about how I show up for myself, and I'm competitive against myself.
The only thing that registered as a loss in that whole experience was whatever showed up on the scorecard.
Right.
What you left on the court, what you brought to the court. And I think that's a big piece of it. The attitude that we're bringing. Are we bringing one to win, or are we bringing one to excel over what we had done before? Are we in this to be able to best our own best? Or is it really, and I think it gets back somewhat to the premise of this episode, which is about without the accolades, without the gold stars, without the win, who are we? Mm-hmm. And it's who are we bringing into that whole equation? That it's just, it comes from the inside.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I was questioned why I was getting my PhD. Why are you working on your PhD? You don't want to be a tenured professor. No, I don't want to be a tenured professor. But I love to learn, and it's something I've always wanted to do for myself. Yeah. I'm not doing it for any other reason. I like the PhD after my name. Do I use it all the time? No. But it's interesting how many times I've had to defend why I earned my PhD. Because I wanted to continue learning. It wasn't to be like, oh, look at me, I have my PhD. Aren't I so smart?
Yeah, because if you were smart, then you wouldn't be doing this podcast with me, right? I heard that. No, but it's fascinating though, right? Those titles. And when you get that kind of, I don't want to say it's pushback, but it's something. There's probably a good word for it. But that reaction is, I would surmise, given what we've covered over the past 76 episodes, is that when people are uncomfortable with the success that you are enjoying and the stamina that you demonstrate and the integrity that you bring into everything you do, when they are discombobulated by being in the face of that, they're going to find something. They got to find something to help either elevate them or, in their mind, diminish you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just, I see it so often, so many different little ways that kind of stuff comes up.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And I wonder, do we pay close enough attention to recognize when we may be doing that with others? Our invitation today is to reflect on self. Who are you when you take all of that achievement and glory and such away? Are you proud of the person you see absent of all of that? Are you being your best self? Are you bringing your best self forward? Are you making apologies or excuses for the fact that you're not?
And I think we go through so many transitions in life where things start and stop. Career transitions, health issues, caregiving responsibilities, relationships. Did I say health issues? Health issues. I don't know. Like, there's so many things that we are and then we aren't.
Mm-hmm.
And how you manage those, I think, really says a lot about kind of what happens when those achievements slow down or even stop for you. I remember I worked for somebody when he retired, called me every single morning. He had no hobbies outside of his career. And it was like he so associated himself with that role that he couldn't transition out of it. And like it was funny, but at the same time, it was like, dude, you are retired. Go enjoy your life, man. But he was so connected to what he thought that achievement was that he couldn't let it go. So when I think about reclaiming your identity beyond whatever labels you have, whatever achievements you have, it's like, think about, what do you think that achievement says about you?
And
is it safety? Is it belonging? What does it earn you?
I think it comes out, it's like achievement is the spotlight. There's those spotlight moments. But your identity is with you all the time. It's a shadow, even in the dark. It's right there with you.
And how many people feel like they constantly have to prove themselves? Like they have to prove their identity. And you're allowed to matter without having to prove it all the damn time.
Trying to wrest that spotlight back on you because that's how you know you matter. If you don't already know you matter, then working really hard to be in that spotlight is not going to satisfy.
No.
It could work to your detriment and that of the relationships around you, your own health.
I think there's a lot of value and worth in taking joy in experiences that are not productive. By that, I mean rest. I've been talking a lot about rest on my other podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Rest is important. Creativity, connection, those things aren't necessarily productive, but they can connect you to who you are and what matters.
It's reverence. It's a reverence for yourself to provide that opportunity for rest.
And you are valuable when you're still.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be in the spotlight to be valuable.
And it's that notion of rest. So I think that would be something easy to gloss over. And I understand that you are really digging into that in your podcast, the other podcast that is so incredibly wonderful, right up there with your book, which is Boundaries That Empower. And you can find it on Amazon. Not an episode's going to go by. The greatest gift anybody could give anyone. I'm serious. I'm dead serious. But with rest, it's not about the fact that we're doing less. It's about not needing to do more to feel like you're enough. Being able to replenish your soul, your body, your spirit, whatever, but being able to just respect yourself enough to give yourself that space.
Yeah. Yeah. If I think about like self-reflection, journaling, I think this is another great topic to think about. And some of the questions rattling around in my brain are, who am I when I'm not achieving? What does that look like? What do I believe I have to prove? And to who? And I think I see people who show up different ways for different people. And it's like they're trying to prove different things to different people. Why do you need to do that?
What is it that external, I don't know, you're getting acknowledged and recognized from the outside, but are empty on the inside? Mm-hmm. If what I need is constant input that I'm a good person, I'm more than enough, I'm really good, I'm fun to be around, I'm wise, I'm whatever. If all of that's coming in from the outside is the only thing that's fueling your sense of self and self-worth, that's dangerous.
So you mentioned a couple of things there that I would label as some signs that you're defining yourself by achievement. What are some other signs that people could look out for that they're defining themselves by achievement?
I don't know. It'd be like if you were looking at yourself in a mirror. What do you see beyond the role self? What do you see beyond the roles you play? The roles that you're cast into, that you go ahead and allow people to put you there, you just go. Because as we've talked about, I don't know how many episodes ago, the fact that I'm being acknowledged as someone that's able to do that something is good enough. At least I'm getting acknowledged. I can do more than fog a mirror. But when you look in the mirror, what do you see beyond the roles you hold and the things you do?
Yeah. Yeah. Who are you without your job, your role, your goals?
I think being able to look at what are the things that are tiring you out. So you get exhausted from performing, from working so hard to achieve, or trying to just hold the whole bloody thing together. You're the one. And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
And there's and you and I have both been in those positions where it was on us individually to hold stuff together, usually in times of great unrest or trauma, loss. When you find yourself in that role all the time, even looking for ways to be that person because you're serving a really important role for others, and therefore, of course, you're going to be seen as somebody who should be in the spotlight because of your strength and courage and tenacity and whatever.
Right. It's like the praise makes you feel valuable and the lack of it makes you feel invisible, like you don't matter.
That's right. That's right. And so looking at what in you deserves recognition, even if there's nobody around applauding it. Look at what it is that is something to celebrate about you. Even if it's just you blowing your own party horn. There are things to celebrate in the quiet. It doesn't need to have that bright light. What are your thoughts, Michelle?
I think if we think about some of those signs, I absolutely agree with some of the things you said. You struggle to answer the question, who are you? I would add to that, you feel guilty for saying no. You are anxious. You have no downtime. Like your downtime is the most uncomfortable piece of your life. Many, many years ago, my schedule was so full, and which it was filled with a lot of really fun things. And then I happened to move out of the country where I knew no one and I had a lot of downtime, and I loved it. I was like, when I move back, I need to make sure I build in some downtime, because I kept myself so busy. And I remember someone saying to me, why do you keep yourself so busy? What are you afraid of? And I was like, I'm not afraid of anything. I play tennis, I play volleyball, I work, I'm studying. I did all of those things while I was working on my PhD. I was busy, and I still did a lot of things, but it was such a different lifestyle when I moved out of the country. Life was slower, and I thrived. I loved it. I am still very busy, but I also make time for rest. Rest has become a key part of my life, and which I never thought was something that I would do. But rest gives me time to just chill out, take a break, rejuvenate for whatever's next, and give energy to the things that matter. How many times have we had to redo things because we're tired?
Yeah.
And then if I'm driven by achievement, and now I screwed that up because I was tired. I didn't do it right the first time. Now I got to do it again, and I got to do it even better. And I can't rest because now we get in this loop of just, I got to continue to drive for that result. And we forget that rest can help us.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to point out too that achievement is not bad. It can be a great tool for our growth. It feels good to achieve something. I have a couple coaching clients that love a checklist, so they like to achieve things every day where they can just check shit off their list. If they achieve something and it's not on the list, they're going to write it on the list so they can check the box. Like that's how good achievement can feel for people. But it shouldn't be our currency of worth. So yes, it's important. It's absolutely can be a goal to achieve. I would never tell somebody don't achieve that, as I think achievement is important. But why are we doing it? What's really at the crux of it? Are you doing it for currency, for your own self-worth? Or are you doing it for growth? Those are two very distinct and different things. As a very high achiever, I can look back and I would say 95% of what I've done has been for growth. Some of it's been for currency, but the bulk of it has just been for my own growth because I am a learner. I love to learn. Every assessment I've ever taken, learner is in my top 5. No one who knows me will be shocked by that.
None of us will. No, absolutely not. So at the end of the day, this is what if you got quiet? What would the real you, beneath all of the striving, one that got quiet long enough to listen, what would the real me whisper? What would the real you whisper to you about your worth?
I am not my resume. I am not my hustle. I am not my highlight reel. I am a whole freaking human being. I do not need to earn the right to breathe. I already have that, and that is enough.
Bam. With that, I'm Carla Lewis.
I'm DocShellie. We'll see you next time. I am not my resume. I am not my hustle. I am not my highlight reel. I am a whole freaking human being. I do not need to earn the right to breathe. I already have that, and that is enough.